One night she confronted me. Who is he? I froze, a fork halfway to my mouth. What? The photographer. Lucas. Her voice was calm, surgical. The nurses saw the photos from the gala. They said you two looked intense. Blood roared in my ears. It's nothing. Just work. She studied me, her eyes the ones that dissected failing hearts, seeing too much. Don't let your art destroy us, she said finally, pushing her chair back. Before we start, thank you for coming to my channel. Your participation is my happiness. Let me know where you are and what time it is now. Okay, now let's get into the story. I used to believe my life was a blueprint of perfection. Picture this. A sleek penthouse overlooking the Manhattan skyline, a thriving career as a sought-after architect, and a marriage to Elena, a brilliant cardiologist whose smile could light up an operating room. We were the couple others envied, the kind who hosted glamorous dinner parties, toasted to promotions, and laughed at inside jokes only we understood. From the outside, our life was a masterpiece. But even the most stunning structures have hidden flaws. I met Elena at 28. She was 25 then, sharp-witted and fiercely independent, with a laugh that echoed through every room. We collided literally at a charity gala, spilling champagne on each other's designer suits. It was chaotic, embarrassing, and somehow electric. 5 years later, we exchanged vows under a canopy of cherry blossoms, promising forever in front of 200 guests. For a while, forever felt inevitable. But time has a way of weathering even the strongest foundations. The late nights I spent drafting blueprints began to overlap with Elena's grueling hospital shifts. Our conversations dwindled from passionate debates about art and science to clipped texts about grocery lists and utility bills. We still loved each other, I never doubted that, but the spark, the urgency that once made us feel invincible had faded into a quiet, comfortable ember. Then came Lucas. He was hired as the photographer for my firm's latest project, a high-rise that would redefine downtown Chicago. At 28, Lucas had a restless energy, his camera always slung over one shoulder and a smirk that hinted at secrets. His portfolio was edgy, unconventional, and exactly what the project needed. The first time we met, he critiqued my design with a blunt honesty that should have offended me. Instead, it intrigued me. Glass and steel are predictable, he said, leaning against my desk. Why not add something raw? Something alive? I dismissed it as artistic grandstanding. But when he showed up the next day with a series of photos capturing the imperfections of urban decay, cracked sidewalks, graffiti-strewn walls, I couldn't look away. Beauty isn't always polished, he said, catching my stare. It started innocently. Lucas would linger after shoots, flipping through my sketches or debating the merits of modernist versus brutalist architecture. He noticed things Elena hadn't in years, the way I tapped my pen when stressed, my obsession with black coffee, the faded band t-shirt I wore under my suits for luck. One rainy afternoon, he tossed me a vinyl record of the Smiths for the pen tapping, he joked. Elena hadn't remembered my favorite band since medical school. The shift was subtle. I'd catch myself smoothing my hair before meetings with him, or replaying his sarcastic quips long after he'd left. During a site visit, our hands brushed while examining a beam, and I froze, my pulse roaring in my ears. Lucas didn't pull away. Instead, he leveled me with a gaze that felt like a challenge. You're not just lines on paper, you know, he said quietly. There's a fire in you. Why let it die? I laughed it off. But that night, as I lay beside Elena, her breathing steady, her back turned, I stared at the ceiling and wondered when we'd stop seeing each other. The breaking point came during a business trip to Chicago. A storm grounded Elena's flight, leaving me alone in a hotel suite with Lucas to review project footage. Wine turned to whiskey, laughter to charged silence. At 2 a.m., he played a song, a haunting, guitar-heavy track I didn't recognize, and something in me snapped. Dance with me, he said, extending a hand. This isn't a dance, I muttered, but my feet moved anyway. His fingers grazed my waist, and the room spun. When his lips met mine, it wasn't gentle. It was a collision, a reckoning. For the first time in years, I felt alive. I pulled away first, my chest heaving. This can't happen. Lucas stepped back, his smirk gone. It already has. The days after Chicago blurred into a haze of guilt and longing. Elena noticed the distance, how could she not, but blamed it on work. You've been quiet, she said one night, her stethoscope still draped around her neck. Is the project stressing you? I forced a smile. Just deadlines. But deadlines weren't what kept me awake. Lucas became a constant shadow. At the office, his camera lens seemed to follow me, capturing moments I didn't realize I'd let slip. A clenched jaw during meetings, the way I'd rake a hand through my hair when frustrated. He'd print the photos and leave them on my desk and signed. "Imperfections make art," read one sticky note. We danced around the truth. During a site inspection, a steel beam slipped, and Lucas yanked me backward, his grip firm against my chest. My back pressed to his, I felt his heartbeat, wild, erratic, mirroring my own. "Careful, architect," he murmured, breath hot against my ear. "Wouldn't want you broken." I didn't pull away. The gala was Elena's idea. A charity event for the hospital, all glittering gowns and hollow small talk. She wore emerald green, her laugh ringing across the room as she charmed donors. I stood at the bar, nursing scotch, when Lucas appeared. "You look like you'd rather be designing prisons," he said, sliding into the seat beside me. "This is a prison," I muttered. His knee brushed mine under the table. A spark. A dare. Later, in a dim hallway, he cornered me. "You're wasting yourself here." His fingers grazed my wrist, tracing the veins like blueprints. "You crave chaos. Admit it." I should have walked away. Instead, I gripped his collar and kissed him, hard, desperate, a rebellion against the polished lie of my life. The taste of whiskey and recklessness flooded me, and for a heartbeat, I forgot Elena's name. The aftermath of the gala haunted me. Elena's perfume lingered on my collar, but Lucas's kiss burned deeper, a brand I couldn't scrub clean. I threw myself into work, drafting revisions for the Chicago high-rise until dawn. Yet every sketch felt hollow, every line a reminder of the chaos I'd invited into my life. Lucas, ever the provocateur, pressed harder. He began showing up unannounced, coffee in hand, a smirk playing on his lips. "You're avoiding me," he said one morning, leaning against my office door. "Guilt doesn't suit you, architect." I glared at him. "This isn't a game." "No." He stepped closer, dropping a folder on my desk. Inside were photos of us, grainy, intimate shots from the gala hallway. My hand gripping his collar, his fingers tangled in my hair. "Art doesn't lie," he said softly. "But you do." Elena's suspicions sharpened. She started calling during meetings, her tone clipped. "You're working late again?" "The project's behind," I lied, staring at Lucas's latest photo pinned to my corkboard, a close-up of my own shadow, fractured by light. One night, she confronted me. "Who is he?" I froze, a fork halfway to my mouth. "What?" "The photographer." "Lucas." Her voice was calm, surgical. "The nurses saw the photos from the gala. They said you two looked intense." Blood roared in my ears. "It's nothing. Just work." She studied me, her eyes the ones that dissected failing hearts, seeing too much. "Don't let your art destroy us," she said finally, pushing her chair back. "I'm on night shift." The door clicked shut, leaving me alone with my reflection in the polished dining table, a man split in two. Lucas demanded recklessness. At a rooftop party for the project's investors, he cornered me by the railing, Manhattan sprawled below like a circuit board. "You're drowning in perfect," he said, handing me a flask. "Jump." The whiskey burned. So did his hand on my thigh, hidden under the tablecloth. Across the room, Elena's colleague, Dr. Patel, watched us, her brow furrowed. "Stop," I hissed, shoving Lucas's hand away. He laughed, loud and jagged. "You're already falling. Why fight it?" The collapse came on a Tuesday. During a site tour, a support beam buckled, a flaw in my design. Workers shouted as debris rained down. Lucas lunged, shoving me aside just as steel crashed where I'd stood. "You okay?" He gripped my arms, his camera swinging wildly. I nodded, trembling. But Elena, who'd arrived unannounced with lunch, saw it all, his hands on me, my breath ragged, the way my gaze clung to his. Her lunch bag hit the floor. "Thank you for listening to the story so far. Your encouragement means a lot to me. Please comment and share your thoughts here. I love you and I am so grateful to have you on this journey with me to explore the story further." Time stopped. Elena stood frozen in the doorway of the construction site, her lab coat billowing in the dusty wind. The lunch she'd brought, a turkey sandwich, my favorite, lay spilled at her feet, mustard smeared across the concrete like a scream. Lucas's hand still gripped my shoulders, his camera strap digging into my neck. "Elena, it's not." She turned and walked away. The fight that night was atomic. "How long?" she demanded, her voice scalpel sharp. I stood in the wreckage of our living room, blueprints scattered, a shattered vase glittering on the floor. "A few months." It didn't mean anything. "Bullshit." She hurled the word like a diagnosis. "You risked everything, your career, our life, for nothing?" I couldn't meet her eyes. The truth was worse, it had meant something. Lucas had cracked open a version of me I didn't recognize, wild, reckless, alive. The next morning, Lucas waited at my office, feet propped on my desk. "Rough night." "Get out." He tossed a photo at me, Elena and me at our wedding, her smile radiant, my hand on her waist. You used to look at her like she hung the stars. Now you look at her like she's a relic. I lunged, slamming him against the wall. You don't know anything about us. He grinned, blood trickling from his lip. Funny. You didn't mind my insights in Chicago. The site accident made headlines. Architect's flawed design nearly kills crew. My firm suspended me. Elena moved out, taking only her medical journals and the cherrywood clock from our wedding. Lucas found me drowning in scotch at a dive bar. You're better than this, he said, sliding into the booth. Better than what? A liar? A failure? His hand crept over mine, calloused and warm. Better than pretending you want this. He nodded to the window, where my reflection stared back, a ghost in a tailored suit. Come with me. Where? Anywhere. We'll burn it all down. Start over. I went to Elena's hospital, my apology rehearsed. But through the glass of the ICU, I saw her bent over a patient's chart, her face etched with focus. This was her world, precise, life-saving, real. I turned and left. That night, I packed a duffel bag. Lucas's motorcycle idled outside, headlight cutting through the rain. Last chance, architect, he shouted over the engine. I climbed on behind him, the city lights blurring as we sped toward the highway. Elena's final text glowed on my phone. I love the man you were. I pity the man you've become. I deleted it. Lucas's motorcycle tore through highways, wind whipping my face raw, but the freedom I'd chase felt like a noose. We crashed in motels with flickering neon signs, our laughter sharp and hollow. He'd kiss me like a battle, all teeth and desperation, but his camera stayed slung over his shoulder, snapping photos of my unraveling. For the memoir, he'd joke. One night, in a desert town where the sky swallowed the stars, he tossed a newspaper at me. The headline screamed, "Disgraced architect abandons wife, career for mystery lover." Elena's face stared back from a sidebar photo, stoic, pristine, a statue of dignity. Happy? I snarled. Lucas lit a cigarette, the flame casting shadows on his smirk. You wanted chaos. Here it is. Money ran out. Lucas sold his camera for a handful of cash, then vanished for days, returning with whiskey breath and lipstick on his collar. Don't look at me like that, he sneered when I confronted him. You're not my wife. The words gutted me. We fought in a gas station parking lot, fists and curses, until he spat. You're just another blueprint I got bored of. His motorcycle roared away, leaving me alone with the buzz of fluorescent lights and the weight of my own stupidity. I called Elena from a payphone, coins clattering like guilty confessions. She answered on the second ring. I'm sorry, I breathed. Silence. Then cold and clean, you don't get to apologize. You get to live with it. The dial tone hummed. I returned to New York, a ghost in a city I'd once shaped. My penthouse was sold, my firm's logo stripped from the building. I took a job drafting sewer layouts, my hands trembling over schematics no one would admire. One afternoon, I passed the Chicago high-rise, my high-rise, now crowned with scaffolding. Workers shouted as they patched the beam that nearly killed me. A new architect's name gleamed on the plaque. Beautiful, isn't it? A stranger paused beside me misty-eyed. They say the original designer lost his mind. I walked away. Years later, I received a package. Inside was Elena's wedding ring and a note. I remarried. He's kind. Forgive yourself or don't. I'm free either way. At the bottom, a photo fluttered out. Lucas's final shot of me, half lit in the gala hallway, eyes wide with want. On the back, scrawled in his jagged hand, you were my best ruin. I burned it. I design bridges now, simple, sturdy things that connect solid ground. No one knows my name and I prefer it that way. Sometimes, when the Hudson River glints at dusk, I imagine Elena laughing in some sunlit kitchen, her new life unbroken. As for Lucas, the last I heard, he's shooting wedding photos. And that's it for today's story. I'd love to hear what you think. Leave a comment below and share your feelings. Did you relate to any of the characters? Or if you were in their shoes, what decisions would you make? I'd love to hear from all of you. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and if you didn't, hit 1. Subscribe so you don't miss out on more great content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day!